Oh, he'll get his cut.
When?
When I'm ready.
One of the great things about Kung Fu is that it had this incredible A-list of guest stars, you know, that were stars then and that became stars later. First of all, you had people like John Saxon, William Shatner, Tim Matheson, okay, who were well established at the time. But Harrison Ford, Jodie Foster, they essentially, you know, made their debuts on television. So it was a breeding ground for A1 talent, and it was also just surrounded by A1 talent. I mean, in front of and behind the scenes. They didn't settle for less.
People wanted to do the show because it was unique. It's as simple as that. Yes, it was fairly easy to cast people that normally wouldn't do series television.
What you doing up here?
Listening.
I was just practicing, waiting for the stage to come.
Is what you play a lute?
No, it's a mandolin. And it's called a plectrum.
It makes a sound like running water.
Well, I remember Jodie Foster the moment that I saw her. I knew she was going to be a big star, and it's also one of my favorite segments. And she was a darling. I mean, she was about this tall, and she had all of her acting mojo together. I just loved her.
They call me Lethe, but my real name is Miss Alethea Patricia England.
My real name is Caine.
The scenes with her and David Carradine are really, really very special. They're just you know, two people relating on this magical level that you just love watching them. And shots of Jodie walking down this deserted western street where the camera is very high and this lonely little child, you know, sort of caught on the horns of a dilemma. It's a, you know, it was a lovely image too.
I lost my hat at the beginning of the first segment that Cam was a coordinator on. So that for anybody that wants to know, if I'm not wearing a hat, then it's real Kung Fu. I marked several things like that. When Bruce Lee died, I changed the color of the shirt from brown to saffron. And the other way that you can tell when a segment was shot is look at the length of my hair, because I just simply grew my hair for the 4 years that I was involved.
We had a restaurant there for 34 years in Panorama City in the San Fernando Valley, and Philip was, you know, he was the front man, and of course I did all the grunt work. People recognized him right away and associated him with the part of Master Caine. And he used to get a big kick out of going up and talking to the kids that came in, and he'd have a couple of pebbles in his hand that he reached out from the flower pots, and you could take these pebbles from my hand. It's time for you to leave. You know?
I actually had to eat rabbit for a scene during the night shoot, and I had to eat I don't know how many rabbits. It was while I was trying to catch the coin as well. I'd have to take a bite and then catch the coin, and they had a bunch of rabbits, and it was real rabbit, and I ate, and I would eat, and I'd never catch that damn thing because I couldn't see it coming out of the dark.
Rodimus Parra was the most victimized child in the history of television. A friend of mine who was a boom operator, Marvin Lewis, Marvin said that he's standing up on the boom one day, and he's got the mic out there, and Rodimus starts letting some tension out and starts yelling and Marvin's got these headphones on, and it's just like knives through his skull. And Marvin says, "Yeah, one more time, Rodimus, and we're going to get into this." And sure enough, a few minutes later, Marvin takes the cans off, gets down from the boom, walks over to Rodimus, picks him up physically, and throws him in the swimming pool.
It was a happy set. They talk about this incredible sense of camaraderie and teamwork that existed. That was very evident on Kung Fu.
I remember the first day of filming. You know, we drove in from Oxnard. I think I was with my grandmother, who drove me down that day, and no David. And about 45 minutes later, this beat-up rust bucket of a 1949 Studebaker convertible rolls up in a cloud of dust. A couple of dogs in it. David gets out barefooted, pretty much in wardrobe already. You know, that jacket, that hat, and cupping a small green cigarette, I thought. And he just kind of looked around and was like, okay, what are we doing?
The incident that we all remember best was him coming in for maybe the 4th day of a 7 or 8 day episode, and he had shaved his head the night before. I said, David, why did you do this? I think that's what Caine would have done. I said, but we have 3 days of shooting with hair in your head. I mean, we can't match anything. Oh, you'll figure it out. I mean, it was like punching a pillow. The flip side of that was he was the character. He was absolutely perfect for the role. I mean, I believed him, the audience believed him. So there's always a yin and a yang, as we would say on the show.